call this segment speed trade-off, okay? Here's a straight in shot. Here comes the cue ball. This is a ghost ball. Here comes the cue ball 10 miles an hour, and it hits that 3 ball dead center. At the moment of impact, this 3 ball gets all 10 miles an hour. It goes from 0 to 10. This goes from 10 to 0. And by the way, if the cue ball has overspin on it, first it stops, then it starts up again. If the cue ball would have backspin on it, first it stops, then it would go back. And if it had no spin on it, it would just stop dead and stay there. This is the next shot. Now, as you can see, here comes the cue ball, a little angle shot. Now we're hitting about 75% of the 3 ball. So now, by the cue ball hitting 75% of the 3 ball, the 3 ball gets 75% of that 10 mile an hour speed. So the 3 ball goes from 0 to 7.5 miles an hour. This ball goes from 10 to 2.5 miles an hour. They got to add up to 10. Now, here comes the cue ball. Here's a half a ball hit. Here comes the cue ball 10 miles an hour. It hits half of the 3 ball. They each go 5 miles an hour. So the last shot, here is a cut, pretty thin cut shot. We're hitting about 10% of the 3 ball. So here comes the cue ball 10 miles an hour. It hits 10% of the 3. The 3 ball gets 10% of 10 miles an hour. So this ball rolls 1 mile an hour in the pocket. This has still got 9 miles an hour left on it. It takes off like crazy. And if these balls were 10 inches from the hole, and this, if you shot at the speed where this 3 ball barely goes 10 inches and rolls in the pocket, the cue ball would come to a stop in 90 inches. Now the rails slow the ball down a lot, but if there was no rail here and you shot just hard enough for this ball to go 10 inches, the cue ball would roll to a stop in 90 inches. So that's what happens on every shot. So now let's talk about how this applies. Let's just say that you buy a table and there's instructions in the table on how to learn about position. And the book says, set up this exact shot, shoot it above center in the pocket, medium speed, we'll use 10 miles an hour, shoot it in the pocket, medium speed, and observe where the cue ball goes so you learn position. So you shoot 20 of these shots, exactly the same speed, in the pocket, and you're scratching your head after 20 tries. You make the ball 20 times in a row. But in a couple of the cases, the cue ball went this far, and in a couple of the cases, the cue hit 2 rails and went 4 or 5 times further. Why? Well, let's show you why. In one case, you might have undercut the ball. So if you undercut the ball like this, and the ball goes in the pocket way over here, now you're hitting 80% of the ball, so this has only got 2 miles an hour left. So it goes down the tangent line a little ways, follows to here, and stops here. The next shot, let's just say you shoot way over here. Watch how far I move that cue ball. Wow. Now, you're hitting 35% of the ball or 40% of the ball. So you've got 6 or 7 miles per hour left on the cue ball. So it's going to go 3 or 4 times farther than the previous one, just because one you shot here and one you shot there. That's what I call speed trade-off. It happens every shot. So if you had say this shot, and you were trying to roll around the table for a ball at the other end, if you hit this shot here with, say, high left, you probably couldn't shoot hard enough to get it around the table because you're hitting it so full, this ball loses almost all its speed. So a pro would just step up and shoot it way over here in the side of the pocket. The cue ball's got most of its speed left, and he or she could roll it around the table, very soft, medium speed, and roll it around the table. So the closer that object ball, the closer this object ball gets to the pocket, the more options you have to help you or to hurt you. What do you know about speed trade-off?